How you guys doing today? My name is Elijah Adadapo, and today we will be streaming live, not in the market because the market's closed, but we will be showing some of the new improvements and some of the bugs that we fixed from our last stream. So before we get started, I like to kick off and promote our Surge page. Surge is a platform that is allowing us to pretty much host our application on their website. There's a competition that's going on right now for whoever can get the most ignition points. So if you like our product and you think our product is good, you want to leave us any kind of feedback or chat with us directly on the product itself, you can reach us here at surge.xyz/discovery/Piythia. And for those who don't know, see, I just got points right now for, streaming the application. So yeah, so there is a race going on right now. The grand prize is $100,000 that can go into a lot of different improvements that we, can do with the website and application itself with those funds. So be sure to do that for us, guys. And yeah, so let's get started. So going back to the application itself. So it's, like I said, the market is closed right now. So we'll definitely have to do a back test and just start showing you some of the back tests. Now, here's some of the back tests that I've been running, and so you can see there's been a lot of testing. So each ID in each agent is unique. Each ID correlates to a different strategy, and that agent correlates to a different stock or asset, our financial asset as well. So, but for now, the application is just using strictly stocks. Later on, we definitely plan to switch and do other stuff. So yeah, this is on my local machine right now. As soon as we get these changes kind of, fixed, we'll populate that to the actual real deployment website, which is www.piythia.com. So yeah, so as we've improved and increased some of the functionality, just from our logs, you can definitely see how the P&L is growing. It's getting better and better. And we'll do a full analysis on one of these later streams to just kind of show exactly how those changes are improving. So for instance, like at the execution layer and exactly analyze, all these different, signals. When is it buy? When is it sell? Figuring out the price and stuff. So, and the reason why this application was even thought of is to kind of just take that away, right? As a user, I definitely want to know, but at the same time, doing it manually is that's not something I want to do. I want to build a system that knows exactly what I want to do, and I can just build confidence and trust, based on the results and stuff of that information. So let's get started. So let's see. So let's pick a new stock today. We're going to go with Intel. Intel's a little bit more stable, so it may not show a lot of data that we want to see, but we'll still run it. And you can pick the back test in the start. You can pick the start date and the end date for the back test, and any date. I just try to pick a time where it's not going to take too long. The longer the back test, definitely the longer it's going to take to run. So just the rule of thumb, if you are using the application and you're testing super long windows, I believe you can go back up to about like 7 years. I haven't done that test myself in quite some time with the new improvements and things like that, but we can definitely try that either now or on one of the later streams. So guys, give me just a quick second. I want to make sure that the other site is streaming as well. So just give me a quick second before I run this application. Let's see. Where's embedded? Where's embedded? Okay, save. Okay, cool. So that's done. So let's get back to the application. Okay, we're back. Okay, so we have the time, date, the stock that we want, and we're just going to run this. So launch backtest. And keep in mind, sometimes it does take a bit of time in this particular dev mode because it's not connected to any of the servers. It's just running on my machine. So it looks like since I already ran Intel, it did like a quick jump start into the application. I'm sorry, into the execution. So here's the Intel backtest strategy that I triggered to run. It's been running for about 30 seconds. That's why I kind of, froze there just for a little bit. It was getting the real-time, the historical market data to actually drive some of these changes. So here is the realized P&L that it was able to obtain. Here's the entry price that it set, along with the stop loss, the quantity, and the risk amount. So the risk amount is the percentage of the risk that the user sets times the current equity. So that 10% times the current equity, that's pretty much like the cap. So the system has basically figured out that it's not going to potentially use like all of that cap, but it's basically like an index, right? From 0 to 6,000, I'm sorry, from 0 to 10,000, that's the amount that the agent can have capital allocated towards it. So we can just take a look at some of these metrics. So the expected returns are already calculated. So these are things that are calculated based on the amount of what's the expected like P&L if you were to do that daily. So all of this information gets stored in a database, and that pretty much helps our system to relearn some of these metrics. I'm not sure if you ever heard before, but the probability Sharp is pretty much the rate at which the risk over your performance. So at an 82.53%, that's pretty good. We can get into a more breakdown analysis of what the metrics actually like mean, so our users can actually like understand what that information means. And so another thing too, just the logs here at the bottom. Another thing I noticed as well is that at the end of this agent's execution, you might have a situation to where you never necessarily like sold. So technically, it's still holding that position, and it sees that you held that position, and it calculates the unrealized P&L based on the current market price of which what the stock is currently, if you're still holding that asset. So that would be the same kind of scenario that would happen if you were individually or just trading individually like without a platform, right? So if you bought some particular asset and you're still holding it, you would definitely have to, the way you would calculate how much the value of that particular asset is by looking at what the current price is and what you bought it for. So um, it looks like the agent, its last thing was to buy, so it never sold, so it's still holding. So, and that's something that it's also will be taken care of um, when a user is actually running a live test and not a back test, right? So for the back test, information is nothing from the back test is kept in the dashboard, or the live data from the paper trading and the actual real asset of the user's portfolio. That definitely will be in here. So just going back to that example, if you were to look into the portfolio, and you didn't sell that asset, but at the end of the day you're still holding it, like technically you would see that in your holding. So that's the reason why we have the portfolio management, because if an agent hasn't sold your asset, technically you still need to know how it's doing. So that's part of the management system. So I'm just gonna do another thing really quickly and just run another test really quick. So let's get a list of more. So I think I did. Let's see. Let's see the ones I've already done before. So I have Intel, AMD, Apple. I don't see Nvidia here, so let's do Nvidia. Let's see, NVDIA. I think that's right. NVDIA. And also too, there's another caveat. Be sure to enter the correct asset with no space. That will cause a bug. Definitely working on erasing that particular that issue, so it sanitizes the user's data. I'm sorry, asset, which is still the data. But definitely working on that. So it is NVDA. Just double checking that and making sure that that's correct, because I almost got it wrong myself. Um, so I'm going to pick a longer backtest window for 25 is okay. 2, 6. We're going to launch the backtest. And while that is waiting, while it's waiting, it's actually retrieving the information for the historical time periods for the real data that was used from April the 1st, 2026, all the way from April 25th, 2026. So with that being said, just let it cook up just for a little while. Like I said, on the website itself, when this gets pushed, it's definitely going to be a lot faster if that isn't a bug that's present. So yeah, so just give that a little while to populate. And in the meantime, if there's a bug where it doesn't populate as promised, we'll definitely highlight that. And then, in our next run, be sure to fix that. So I see data from it on my back end side, but I do not see where it's executing in the UI. Let's see. Oh, okay. That's weird. Didn't like that. Failed to launch backtest. Please try again. Failed to launch. Wow. Now, why are we getting that? Why are we getting a fail to launch? Let me restart. And yeah, it's definitely not perfect yet. Definitely some things that we're working on. There are constantly different bugs and stuff that we're finding. So yeah, it did run, but it took the UI transition was really slow on that. I'm not sure why that happened. It could be some of the tabs that I have open. I have a lot of tabs open. Gonna blame it on the tabs, and on the next stream we'll diagnose this later today, and on the next stream we'll definitely get that situated. But it ran, so let's see. Let's just take a look at the data. So our unrealized P&L, I guess after the sale, the price may have dropped. What do we buy it at? So we bought it at the last price we bought it at was at one. Was filled at order executed by filled at 199. So let's see what the actual price is of it. Right. So let's see. Yeah. So you definitely would have some loss, right? If you were still holding that asset. So that's why you have a negative unrealized P&L. But let's just take a look at the actual realized P&L. So the realized P&L, for those who don't know, is the actual realized gains from selling an asset, to the market and making a profit. And we can see like some of our risk metrics actually match what our realized P&L says. This is the amount that the agent had access to. The risk elevated. So when risk is elevated, that pretty much means that the market data that went into this particular agent, it detected some discrepancies, with the trends and the technical analysis that, hey, it is a more, it basically means that there's a heightened sense of awareness as terms of risk. So that means that the risk level has increased. So the allocator will basically try to minimize the loss. That's why the stop loss for this particular asset is like super close to the entry price. And, I've seen a lot of different videos where they talk about, having a huge stop loss so you don't get out of the trade. But I think in an application like this, when as an automated application, you definitely want to have like certain checks and balances in place to where the system, it doesn't just go rampant with your money. And then if you were to actually probably like calculate the stop loss, and like I said, we're going to do a more detailed analysis of how the stop losses and everything is calculated. But from that seems like a dollar amount and some change, but if you actually do the percentage of that, it's probably a little bit, not probably, but it's a little bit bigger than just a dollar. So for it to actually like get to the stop loss, that stock is probably going to be down by maybe 3 or 4%. So but yeah, so let's try to do that test again, and just kind of in okay. So just try to get some random ones in there really quick. So in okay, make sure, see if Alpaca has that in okay. Oh, yeah, Alpaca has in okay. Cool. So for 15 2026 for 2026. And yes, and like I said, the reason why we're not doing this test live to where we can see our actual positions in our actual broker right now is because the market is closed right now. We could do aftermarket calls, but that's not something we're aiming for exactly like right now. The mechanism, at least how it works in this given instance, is to there's a a governing AI called the Oracle that's pretty much going to be configured to wake up and be active and pretty much start this manual analysis that I'm showing you guys, and pretty much take that information, correlate it, do different matrix strategy, allocation, and then kind of figure out when's the best time to execute those trades in real working order. So let's see. So yeah, I definitely see the asset come in on my logs for the actual service itself. So it queued it, and here are the results for that. And you can always see that the results for everything is always different. It's never the same. So these are all metrics that, like I said, go into the database and helps the governing AI, the Oracle, basically retrain um, you know the strategies. So, and I definitely have an idea of what's happening right now. So, at first, the reason why it pops up super like kind of slow like that is because I noticed that when you retrieve the data and you start, you kind of end up in this weird place where you're kind of just like looking at an empty screen before the data even starts, because it's kind of like retrieving that information. It's doing a little math, so it's doing a little bootstrapping, like startup kind of position. So it needs a little time. So you can see right here where it says like 41 seconds. So it kind of needs a little bit of time before it actually starts spitting out this information. And that's something that I guess in the next iteration, I definitely think we could probably work on um, just showing the users this, so it doesn't seem so buggy for having the user wait there. But yeah, let's take a look at this. For the unrealized P&L, like I said, that happens when it sees that that asset isn't sold yet. And maybe another thing we can do, just thinking, just brainstorming, you know, um, maybe we can do something to where we don't make a buy when the time gets near the exit time of when the back test ends. That's probably a little bit something you probably have to think about. But so going back to this, the realized P&L that it made for it was $231.04. So not bad, but not great. You see that the probability sharp, it dropped a little bit on this one. The expected daily dropped a little bit on this one as well. Some of the risk exposure, it was a little bit higher and a little bit lower in some places. Entry price was calculated. I'm sorry, the stop loss price was calculated. It actually brought a lot of those shares. So, and that's the thing too, because like sometimes you can have stocks that are a little bit cheaper and you can get like a higher quantity, but at the same time, to actually make a significant difference in what you take home, you kind of need significant movement, at least for that stock to, get you any assets. I'm sorry, any profit from your asset. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys today, is the back testing capability of Pythia. There is a couple bugs and stuff that we kind of noticed, are maybe some better plans or of concept. But with all that being said, that's pretty much the gist of the application itself in regards to the back testing. On Monday, we'll actually plan to actually do to try to mimic our two-stage deployment mechanism, by hand instead of with the Oracle installed. So yeah, like I said, keep watching us, keep staying in tune, and then later on, like I said, we'll get into our our metrics, our runs where we actually like enable our governing AI to pretty much take control of the manual process that you guys just kind of witness and have that just kind of just take hold. But yeah, for now, this is what we have. Be sure to sign up on the actual webpage, www.pythia.com. Sign up, and this brand new update, once this is all fixed, we'll have our official beta release version coming out for our users. And my name is Elijah Adadapo. It's been a pleasure. And just happy Friday, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.